Hello, welcome to another epic episode of Mac Music Review. Today we're looking at the album Worlds by Porter Robinson. This is the album cover. Worlds at this point in the world of music and the internet is absolutely iconic. This album is just legendary. Its place in just the fandom, the world of music fandom, and everything is just, this album is treasured. It is treasured by so many people and beloved, and was absolutely just mocked by critics. Critics had very few positive things to say about it. The overall score on Metacritic is like a 66, which is very, very low for an album review, for an album score. But it was just kind of just not well received. Fantano gave it a 5, AllMusic gave it 3 stars, and AllMusic is generally more on the positive side. And in this video, instead of just going into the specifics of every song on the track list, I would like to look at it more generally and just kind of understand the criticisms and what I will say are the strengths of the album and try to balance it out and give it a score at the end. Ultimately, the downfall and biggest praises I can give this album are all due and all surrounding its ambition. Either musically or lyrically, Worlds is an extremely ambitious, adventurous album. It just feels so larger than life on so many of these songs, and it also translates into the length of the songs. The first song, Divinity, is over 6 minutes long. Sad Machine is over 5 minutes long. Fresh Static Show is just under 6 minutes. Sea of Voices, the last 3 songs in the album are all over 5 minutes long. Or, you know, Sea of Voices is almost 5 minutes long, but and then Fellow Feeling is over 5 minutes, and then Goodbye to a World is over 5 minutes. And throughout these very long songs, the songs go through these periods of transitions and huge orchestral swells and evolution. Especially, look at the song Fellow Feeling. If I can point to one specific song that shows the scope and ambition of this album, it is this song that tells a story self-contained within this one song, telling the story with music, with words, with lyrics, with an actual, like, plot that it references. It's just a lot. And the critics said it was too much. The main criticism, I think, for this album basically boils down to Porter Robinson has bit off more than he can chew. His fans would totally disagree and say he knew exactly what he was doing, and there is emotion to be found in these stories that these songs tell, and there's a grand, grand originality and grand attractiveness to these long songs and these ambitious ideas. I mean, listen to the narrative of Years of War, which tells this story of something that took place, and I mean, musically and lyrically, there's a lot going on this album, and I think that mostly it's pretty commendable. But not always. I would say a few moments on this album that really do kind of fall flat and kind of get lost in their own ambition are Sea of Voices, Fellow Feeling, and Hear the Bells. All of these songs are on the longer side of things, and Hear the Bells just doesn't really deliver. It's kind of all build up with no real climax, and something similar could be said for Sea of Voices, which ultimately feels a little bit anticlimactic and a little bit of a waste of my time. Fellow Feeling is just, it's so much. This song is the most overindulgent, just grand artistic statement, with a capital A. And I can understand someone not liking this because I don't really like this song. And I do like the majority of this album. Divinity, the first track on the album, hits hard. It's 6 minutes long and it flies by. You don't even realize it's 6 minutes long because it's a song that's consistently engaging and well made. Sad Machine and Goodbye to a World are very effective songs that use the robot GLaDOS voice from Portal, is what it sounds like, that kind of tell a story. And Goodbye to a World is a really grand ending that I think ends on a really amazing note. And then Sad Machine kind of sets up this story of and these feelings, these kind of abstract feelings coming from a robotic voice with this electronic instrumental music, and it's a good feeling. Flicker and Fresh Static Snow are very energetic and funky and weird. Flicker with its like anime Japanese vocals or whatever, and I'm not sure exactly, I think it's Japanese. And then Fresh Static Snow with, you know, it's a long track, but like it goes through so many different passages and phases, and it's just so entertaining and engaging throughout and interesting. And, you know, the majority of these songs have that sense of energy. I really like Polygon Dust. I think that one has a really great hook, and Lionhearted as well, with just a pump your fist in the air type of energy. It's the most conventional track on the entire album, the most EDM, pop EDM leaning on the entire thing. And I think it's a really enjoyable track. It's not the most ambitious, it's actually the least ambitious track on the whole track list, but it's a really, you know, like I just said, it's an enjoyable track. I'm torn on this album. Because there's a lot of ideas on this thing that I really love. I just don't think that all of the ideas fully worked 100%. And I'm gonna have to bring back my old rating system. I used to do, you know, like an in-between score, so normally I try to keep things like, you know, I give it a 3 stars or a 3.5 stars or 4 stars or 4.5, you know, with those 0.5 in between spots. But I really couldn't give this album a 3.5 because I just gave, you know, Too Weird to Live, Too Rare to Die by Panic at the Disco. And I definitely think this is better than Too Weird to Live, Too Rare to Die. But I don't like it as much as Death of a Bachelor, and I do think there's some issues keeping it back from being a 4-star album. So I'm going to have to give it a 3.75 star rating out of 5. Guys, I like Worlds. I really do. Please don't hate on me for not loving this album, because I don't love this album. I think it's a good album with some really good songs, some really great ideas. It's just not the most cohesive album in the world, and it kind of thinks that it is this cohesive grand statement, but a lot of the songs are just kind of, it really is more a collection of songs than an album, in my opinion. Which is okay, there's nothing, you know, inherently wrong with that. I just think that after listening to Nurture, I just, you know, it really shows how amazing Porter Robinson can really be when he's very focused and he wants to be very consistent with something and go for a specific feeling. He can just bottle that feeling and turn it into something beautiful, something really, really amazing. That is an amazing album. Thanks for watching the video. Have a great rest of your day.